Luxury and high quality. Those two things used to be synonymous. They used to come together with each other to help justify purchases. Now the internet is riddled with people's experiences of bad quality from luxury brands, right? If you look on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you will find no shortage of content about quality issues with bags, shoes, any of that sort of business. And it's become a little bit all too familiar. It's become one more thing to think about when you're making your luxury purchase. You're like, okay, yes, I now need to make sure, does this bag fit my lifestyle? Is it lightweight enough for me? Oh yes, is it actually good enough quality? Is everything okay? Before I take this home, realise there's an issue, and then I bring it back, and then, oh my gosh, it's one thing after another. And then I have to jump through hoops for the right customer service and X, Y, and Z. One huge factor, and for a lot of people the main factor in buying luxury items, is that promise of lasting quality. The fact that these things should outlive you. You should be leaving all these things behind, okay? Or at least you can wear them into the ground, but it takes sodding years and years and years and years for that to happen. Part of the reason why we can justify these prices that keep going up and up and up is because the quality is meant to there to back it up. And you could be able to girl math it and get that cost per wear down, because you're like, oh my gosh, don't you worry. This thing that was 1,000, I'll actually wear every single day for the next how many years, and oh my gosh, by a month's time it's free. Well, that thing's not even lasted a month. So, you know, the girl math ain't girl mathing. And look, this is for some brands, this is not for all brands, and we're going to get into it. But we've sort of come to a point where technology has advanced so much that there used to be this really big gap in quality between buying luxury and buying a high street, a bit higher, a step up from fast fashion, right? There used to be a noticeable difference between the two. The thing is, because technology has moved along a bit, that gap has very much narrowed. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. Now, recently, I think we can all agree that the same names have sort of popped up here, there, when people are reporting quality issues. It's really two big uns, right? You've got your Chanel, you've got your Louis Vuitton. These are the ones that we sort of hear about most often. There are others, right, that pop up when we have these conversations. You know, there was a whole thing on TikTok about Amin and Wadi shoe quality and stuff like that. This is just like off the top of my head. I mean, it's sort of even come to the point where, I don't think this is official, I'm not sure. Allegedly, Cartier is no longer authenticating any of their, I don't know if it's specifically the Love range or whatever, but basically the fakes are too good that even Cartier can't tell the difference. And whilst sometimes the quality issues are obvious, right? You can see that plain as day to your eyes. You can go in to a Chanel and you can go, well, that flap is wonky. Why is that at a 45-degree angle? You know, you can see things, but sometimes it's not as obvious. That's sort of a little bit of a peril when it comes to buying online, because if you're buying in store, you can, let's take a department store for example, right, because you've got lots of different brands. You can easily compare because you're touching, right? And you're going, okay, I can feel the leather from this brand and I can feel the leather from this brand and I can see which one I prefer the feel of, right? Whereas if you're buying online and you have that sort of experience that's quite isolated at home, how do you know any different until it's a bit too late in the game, because you're out and about and then you, like, you know, maybe see a friend's bag, or the next time you're out shopping and blah, 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 and by that time it's past the returns, whatever, okay? But what I'm saying is that some quality issues aren't that obvious, but they're still there. And why? Why does this happen? Well, one really big reason, and that's money. Money and margins. Based on this, what are we doing instead? Where are we going instead? How are we spending our money? And look, I'm sitting here and, like, I'm still out here risking it. Like, I'm adding it to my to-do list of one more thing to do when I buy a luxury item out and about, if it's from specific brands. Some brands I sort of don't even bother checking because they tend to be good. Again, we're going to get into this. But others, I'm like, okay, well, great, I've fallen for another, I don't know, Louis Vuitton thing. Let me double check. And again, it depends on the items. It tends to be a lot of bags, maybe not so much ready to wear or whatever, okay? Anyway, for those put off by quality issues, what are the options? What are people doing? And I think this kind of comes into 3 buckets. Number 1, you have vintage, okay? People are then going, I don't know what, why am I buying the new thing that's worse quality? Let me just buy the old/original thing for better quality, and at the same time, 9 times out of 10, ends up being a better price. So a lot of people are going down that route. Biggest example is obviously Chanel used to do 24 karat gold plating on all of their hardware for their bags. They now no longer do this as of 2000 and something. The text will be on the screen. Back when the volume of these bags weren't made to the same extent that they are now. Even I recently got my Chanel vintage belt, and when I tell you, okay, and so this is 24 karat gold plated, the weight of this compared to the newer, I mean it's still not very new, Chanel belt that I have is ridiculous. That is like the lightest thing ever, and this actually feels, you know, weighty and quality and luxury. The second road that people are going down is turning their spend from brands that notoriously have iffy quality to brands that they know are more robust with their quality. This tends to come with a different price range, right? So buying less from better quality brands, right? I'll have some examples for you. Or brands that have a really good aftercare service. So this is why we're seeing it's that intersectionality of you've got the quiet luxury trend plus the fact that these quality issues are happening. So people are wanting things that are going to last for longer. Okay, then you're going to a brand like Loro Piana. You're going to a brand like Brunello Cucinelli. They're known for their quality, okay? Even Hermes, right? We talk about the Hermes game and all of that, and for all their sort of annoyances with the game and the Birkin and the Kelly and the quota bags, if we take that out of it, Hermes is known for one thing, and that is being really, really, really high quality, okay? Handmade products, attention to detail. I rarely have ever seen quality issues to do with Hermes, but the other thing that Hermes has that sort of does set it apart from other brands is insane aftercare service. So, for example, I've brought this out as an example before, I'm going to do it again. Alyssa bought a vintage shoulder Kelly bag, and it was not in great condition, okay, but she found it for a good deal and she was like, okay, wonderful. Didn't buy it, like, this was obviously on secondary market because, you know, it's vintage. She took it into Hermes, and because that is an Hermes product, they sent it off and they basically revamped the entire bag for her. And the thing is that the price of that, I think it came to like $1,500. I will link Alyssa's video below going into depth or whatever, but like, it was a very fair price for everything that they did for that bag. And it's like, you could go into, I keep throwing them under the bus, but you could go into Chanel, and this has happened, when my mum has had an old Chanel bag that's made out of cashmere and a moth got to it and now it's got holes in it. And Chanel has been like, oh, well, we don't make that bag anymore, so I don't really know what we can do. And it's like, sorry, what? This is one of yours. This is one of your things. It shouldn't be if it's current season or not, only then can you help me. So again, people are turning towards the brands that they know kind of like quote unquote have their back with their purchases. Even something like Bottega's lifetime guarantee that, you know, you're paying a lot for these bags. If bought after October last year, then you have a lifetime guarantee on any sort of issues that happen with that bag over its sodding lifetime. Again, these sorts of assurances. You've got brands that are known for their quality like Loewe, like Bottega. So that sort of shift is definitely happening. But the last one that I found very interesting, and actually Mandy Lee on TikTok did a really great video about this. I'm going to link it below. But basically, when you then have all of these issues with quality, people turn towards different categories that they know have the quality to back it up. For example, fine jewellery. So fine jewellery, regardless of brand and all of that, there's a level of quality that's just natural to that category, right? You're all using gold, you're all using silver, it's the same material, and the quality of that material is consistent, okay? You know what you're getting, whether you're going to a local jeweler, whether you're going to an independent brand, whether you're going to, you know, one of these big, a Tiffany, a Cartier, whatever, okay? The price difference between those is quite different, but you at least know that you're buying into something that very much will outlive you, that very much is something you can pass down if that's something important to you, or, you know, give it to somebody, give it another life, whatever, right? This is something that, due to the nature of its materials, is high quality. It tends to be a better investment in quality, right? I'm not really talking about resale value, but I'm talking about the time that this thing is going to be with you. And of course, I think that because of this, and also I think that some of this happens subconsciously, I think I've sort of very much turned my interest towards fine jewellery over the last kind of like couple of years. And now I saw that TikTok and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I know that I can count on this thing to not have any issues and it be with me forever or whatever, right? And of course, I think with more and more people looking towards fine jewellery, discovering more and more new and interesting brands, you can really find brands that suit your personality, and that keep things fresh and interesting and unique. And I think that these 3 roads that I've laid out in this video hit home a bit, and it sort of aligns very much with what I've been sort of noticing with trends. I think that it all makes sense with everything that's happening in the background, like I said, with the quiet luxury and people turning towards buying less but higher quality. Things like that, and then this shift towards, I really do think fine jewellery is going to play a much bigger role in trends and what people are interested in next year, and I think it's something to get excited about. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are, and in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I will see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.